got estimates to do the entire parking lot, and the estimates were between 16 and 20,000. That would be to take everything up and then redo the whole thing. So what we did is to go ahead and just fill some of the potholes, and then we painted and we striped. Now that will last about 2 or 3 years, we hope. But if we can raise the funds, then we will go forward to do more with that. We also had the trees and the hedges, which has to be taken care of. We have not done anything with that. We're hoping that with your financial help and your physical help, we can get to that in 2022. We have, however, changed all the filters in the church and in all the buildings, and we did that basically because we're going to do that every 6 months, especially now with the pandemic. We want to make sure that all the air is clean. The thrift shop is open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 to 2. We would love to do more with that, but we need your physical and we need your financial help there. I can't thank David enough for being here every single time and being willing to do everything. We sincerely hope and pray that with our membership financial support and God's help in 2022, that will be a better year and we can accomplish so many other things, all the things that we actually really want to do. Thank you. Well, we did have a bit of a mishap during the holiday season. We had someone came and dumped a whole lot of garbage in the parking lot. Part of it was a huge concrete fireplace. And it was just dumped in the middle there and lots of bags and furniture. We weren't sure exactly what to do with that. We did call the authorities and they came and took pictures and they said, we really can't do anything about it. They couldn't do anything about it. We have to now install cameras. There's an additional expense. We have to install cameras because without the cameras, they cannot charge anyone. I actually saw the guys who they were doing it, but I couldn't get the pictures of it. So since I did get pictures of them actually dumping, they couldn't do anything. So now we have to think about installing cameras. That is an additional expense. We will probably need your help financially for that. We still have some of the garbage out there. It's not all gone. A lot of it is gone. We had one of the one of the guys from the neighborhood, he came and he said, the first set of garbage that was dumped, he said, I'll help you with that. So he came and he cleaned it up. And then he came the second day and dumped another set. So we still have some of that up there. So we're going to be asking for your help to install those cameras. I'm not sure exactly when, and we hope very soon. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Of course, I think everyone knows what I'm already, the senior warden. And I thank you all for staying and listening and hopefully helping with all of our requests that we are making this morning. Most of what I have is been already said by Senator Untitled and Ms. Heather. As you know, I work directly with her and Ms. Heather, so most of the stuff has been said. And with the cameras, I did talk to 2 people. I got one to at least give me an idea of the price. He was supposed to be here yesterday. I didn't hear back from him, but he says we would need about 4 cameras to cover the main areas of the church. He said the price, even though he didn't come out to look at that, might cost us about $400 to $600. That's including the price of the camera and installation. I think that's, a fair number. Hopefully sometime this week, we can get him. I will make some time to get him here to at least give us a better understanding of what we need to do, and, you know, we will not run the price. So, again, most of what I have is already said. I just want to thank everybody, the people that helped in the thrift store, the vestry members, and all who helped with everything. I just want to thank everyone. My sincere thanks again to the vestry member and the contribution, and for all who helped in the food pantry.
Yes.
I also want to thank our dedicated and fearless leader and priest, Ken and Ifield, for all of your strength, your support, your compassion, and your continued thoughts throughout the challenging time that we face. Lord, thank you. So, everyone was strong because, again, you heard everything.
We have the treasurer's report.
Good morning, Church. I'm happy to report as treasurer. I think you know my name. It's in the bulletin to the pages on the treasurer's report today. It says, we give thanks to God for his blessings and help over the past year ended in December 2021. And we've added in this report a column for the budget for 2022. You can look at that particular page which shows the table that shows the budget for 22 and the figures for 21. I know that we're in a meeting such as this, we are not too committed to a lot of numbers, but what we say here on that first page is the table below is a summary of our receipts and our payments for the year that is just gone. If you know for a minute, the first column, which is the budget, I would say that for our year, we had budgeted a total of $129,000 as our tithes and offerings, and we collected 138, which is a little higher than we had received, higher than we had budgeted, but that's because we received quite a number of, contributed to quite a number of other things in the year. Tithes and offerings came $123,000 right at the bottom of that page, exceeded the $170,000 received in the corresponding time last year. This is favorable, and I take this opportunity to say thanks to those of you who have continued to support our church even during this difficult time. In addition to tithes and offerings, we have a building fund which people contribute, and it is shown here that we received in 2021 $28,000, which was more than we had also received in 2020. And that came as a result of our work in the thrift shop. This year we collected $14,000 from the thrift shop. We'd always been hoping to receive at least $1,000 from them. So we give God thanks to those who operate the thrift shop and those who contribute to it in terms of their time. If you look back on the page where there's statistics, you will see that we also we have got the church rented, and for this year we are looking, and I put a little note to that somewhere. What I will say to you though in relation to this report at this point in time, for example, I said building fund receipts, 28,000 exceeded the 21 received in 2020, and it can really be attributed to the thrift shop. Indeed, the thrift shop receipts this year very much exceeded that of last year. Use of premises, that's written there. Gateway Church continues to pay their monthly contributions. However, we missed the rental income that we will receive from the Graffit Hall, which is not being rented this year. Our expenses, our operating expenses for the period were higher than last year, and so we have made a deficit in that regard, contributed to our deficit at the end of the year. The parking lot in December, we paid $3,600 for resurfing it, and we want to thank you. You did contribute $2,930 towards that project. The only thing I would draw attention to specifically is the tithing our budget. In our budget for this year, we have just used estimates of figures based on last year's giving. What we really need is the pledge cards that you complete. That helps us in determining the budget. And I promised the Vestry meeting, because we had a Vestry meeting just recently when we presented this report, that we will look again at the budget when we've had a chance to see the pledge cards that you submit. So I want to encourage you. We have them there this morning, and we've already received 2 or 3. And so those of you who have not got them as yet, I want you to complete them and pass them back in, and that will help us to look more closely at our budget. I want to thank you for your giving. I'm always committed to the feeling that when God set up the church, that it was all, even back in the Old Testament time, it was a responsibility for all the other tribes to contribute 10% of their income for the work of the church. And so forth. And I tell you for a fact that that works. That works. God blesses those who contribute to the church. So I want to encourage you to continue to do that. I'm also very happy to see Alan today. I want to talk about the men. I look at our men. We are hoping to have, I'm really hopeful, but we've got one there, we've 2 gone, but I'm hoping that we will have a men's square this year. And I heard that our brother would be interested in helping us with that. Alan, we miss you, and we want you to be back and encourage others as well to join us in our men's group. I think that's about the major thing that I wanted to say to you.
I have another question. Do you have a preferred date that you would like to have the pledges, the pledge cards?
I would really be glad to have them by next Sunday, but there's still some members who continue to contribute to our church, even though they're not here for the service. And so we were thinking of posting them out, which is going to cost you 50 cents per card to post out, and then they're going to have to post it back. And so we're still thinking how we're going to do that, but we certainly, I would like by the middle of this month, in another 2 weeks' time, to have our pledge cards back. So we can probably go, when we go to our Vestry meeting for February, we can give them a more specific budget for the year. At the present time, we have budgeted just as much as we need to cover the expenses we've budgeted for, but I think we have to do more than that. One of the things about a budget is, especially in the church, they tend to think that it is a non-profit, and therefore the budget should just cover the expenses, the income and the expenses should go together, so you don't make a profit because you're not there to make a profit. But indeed and in truth, there are so many things that crop up that have to be addressed. That we, in our last Vestry meeting, spoke about having a contingency, some extra money budgeted, so that we will be able to cover these unexpected things. But at the present time, we are budgeting this year for $167,000, which is much the same as we budgeted last year, because we have not yet had a chance to look at the cards. And the expenses are this year $171,000 more than it was last year. So we're showing a loss this year, primarily because of expenses. As you know, the church is insured, and every year the insurance seems to go a little bit more. And the mortgage, I don't want to go into details about that, but we did go into it with the vestry. We've now got a new amount. New mortgage loan arranged in effect from the 1st of January 2024, and so 2022, and I think that comes up for again at the end of 2024, and so there's a mortgage there as well. Look forward to your participation and helping that. I thank God for, I could end it by saying here, I thank God for as treasurer, I'm happy to express thanks on behalf of the church to our members and donors who continue to faithfully support our church here. We wish also acknowledge the help and assistance of the bookkeeper, here, the episcopal written here, and all who help us as we continue to work together in the service of the Lord. If at any time you go through these figures and find anything that you want to talk to us about, we'll be happy enough to go through it with you.
Could you say one thing about the assessment, that people know what that is?
All the money, like in any big organization, the church has to contribute to its major entity, the diocese, and all our tithes and offerings, the spirit offerings and tithes, we have to give 10% of that back to the diocese. This year, we have just raised it to 11%. So within the year that is coming ahead of us, we will contribute. So we will just have 89% there left over to do whatever we have to do. But we have been paying, thank the Lord, we have been paying every year our contribution to the diocese. So thank God for that. We have to pay our salaries, our canon as well, and we would be glad to give her more. We would be glad to give her more. And so if there's any way that we can do that, we will be happy to do it. If there are any other questions related to our church that you'd like to ask, to raise, some things you want to inquire about, if as I said, figures are not always the most attractive thing. We thank you for your contribution to the parking lot that Heather referred to. It cost us something like $3,900, whatever we paid, and you contributed to that $2,900 out of it. So we're very pleased about that. The church just had to fund the balance. If there's anything else you need to talk about, please feel free to let us know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions for any of the leaders? Any of the reports? Any questions? I just want to say two quick things. Our diocesan, we keep saying diocesan because we are part of the Central Florida Diocese. All the congregations in this area have a responsibility toward the diocese, and the diocese has a responsibility toward the national church. So that's why we have an assessment. Our Diocesan Convention takes place on the 29th of this month, Sunday. That's coming up, not this week, couple of weeks. And we have delegates to that convention. The convention was originally planned for Daytona Beach, but because of the rising positivity rates for the pandemic, that has been canceled, and that meeting is now online. So, but yet our delegates will be involved, I believe it's from 9 to 4.
Who's our delegates?
Pardon?
Who are our delegates?
Our delegates are, I know it's Lynette Rao. Kay said that she is an alternate.
I'm saying, 10 people right now.
And Marlon is tentative. Because we are such a small vestry, we all stand in the event someone cannot attend, because we are really only 7 of us, and so we try to support one another as much as possible. But those are our delegates for this year, and I believe Everett as well. So I want to thank you again for all that you do for all of us. Please stand. God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be with you and yours, now and always.
Amen.
And our processional hymn. We have a processional hymn.
Yeah, we do.
All right. So go in peace, to love, and serve the Lord.
Thanks be